It's December 2015. I'm trying to do a little state of the rifle breakdown of my 16-inch AR. The 16-inch AR that I built a couple years ago is my primary rifle for home defense and for range use, doing weapons manipulation drills, getting general practice, and trigger time behind a rifle at the range. The configuration as it was 2 years ago has remained largely the same, but I've had to do some part swap outs and a few minor modifications and tweaks just to adjust the gun to accommodate the way I like to run the gun itself. Rather than discussing those tweaks immediately, I'm going to go ahead and break down all the parts that are used on the gun as it stands today. So the gun is built on a Colt Sporter lower, circa 1993. It was originally purchased as a complete rifle, 16-inch lightweight Colt with an A2 upper. But since it's a registered assault weapon in the state of California, I can use my removable magazines, and so I repurposed the lower for a more custom build, so I can still use my removable magazines. But that being said, the Colt Sporter lower has a Geisley SSAE trigger in it. I'm using a Sequence Precision billet trigger guard and also a Sequence Precision safety selector. This is their 60 degree, 90 degree short throw. I have it configured for 60 degree short throw, as you can see here, and it is ambidextrous. I have a Magpul UBR stock with a Magpul MOE grip. Inside the UBR stock, I actually have a Grove Tech sling swivel. It's a limited rotation sling swivel modification I made. I have a write-up on that, so just go ahead and look on my blog at okfj.net for UBR modification. You'll find my write-up to explain why I did that. Inside the buffer tube is a Spikes Tactical ST02 buffer. And on the outside of the Colt Sporter lower, you can see here, I have a Magpul bag lever. A lot of people don't like the Magpul bag lever, but I personally do. Only for, not for dropping the bolt, but actually just to, in order for me to lock the bolt back with my trigger hand without having to take my, my firing hand off the pistol grip. I just like to run it that way. That's all the parts for the Colt Sporter lower, except the magazine release is the original Colt mag release that came with the gun circa 1993, and that's probably the only stock part on this gun that's left. Continuing on to the upper receiver portion of the rifle, it's all built on a Voltor MER-1A upper receiver with a forward assist. You can get one without a forward assist, but I like to have forward assists on my rifles, my ARs, just for emergency's sake. Attached to the Voltor MER-1A upper receiver is a BCM 16-inch 1-7 twist Colt Hammer Forge chrome line government profile barrel in 5.56 NATO. Feeding the barrel is a Spikes Tactical Melanite coated gas tube going to the BCM low profile gas block. At the end of the barrel is a BCM Gunfighter Mod 0 muzzle brake, and the barrel is wrapped up in a BCM 13-inch KMR KEYMOD handguard. Inside the Voltor MER-1A upper receiver is a Spikes Tactical nickel boron coated bolt carrier group. And moving that bolt carrier group is a BCM Gunfighter charging handle Mod 4. As far as my optics and sights are concerned, I have an Aimpoint Micro T1 2-minute dot on top of a LaRue Tactical 660 mount, which gives me 1/3 co-witness with the Knights Armament micro sights that I'm using for backups. These are their micros. This is the 600 meter micro rear with a Knights Armament micro front. Attached to the KEYMOD handguard is a Noveski KEYMOD attached quick detach sling swivel mount, and I have on the right side of the gun is a Haley Strategic KEYMOD attached Thorntail light mount for a Surefire P2X Fury Defender. The other attachment I have on my handguard is a Haley Strategic Partners CAG, or kinesthetic angled grip, which is KEYMOD mounted. That's pretty much the gun as it stands right now as far as parts are concerned. The modifications and part swap outs I did since I bought the gun. First things first is the barrel. I actually had a FN 16-inch barrel, which I'm pretty sure is the same barrel that's on this gun. It's just BCM probably outsourced to FN to make their guns, and BCM stamped it as theirs. It's not uncommon because FN is probably the primary source for most barrels now for other resellers and so-called manufacturers. But after about 4,000 rounds or 5,000 rounds in the original barrel, I started getting keyholing. At first, I thought it was caused by the muzzle attachment I had. Before, I actually had a battle comp muzzle brake, and I was getting keyholing with it, and I noticed I was getting baffle strikes at the end of the battle comp. So I thought, okay, I'm striking the battle comp, maybe my battle comp's bad, maybe the crush washer's bad, so I swapped out for another battle comp with index washers instead. But I started, after a couple hundred rounds, I started getting more keyholing. And this is at short range. I'm not talking long range, I'm talking short range, maybe 10 to 15 yards during speed drills. So I'm thinking, okay, let me swap out for a BCM Gunfighter Mod 0. Maybe the battle compass is jacked up. I don't know what's going on. A couple hundred rounds later, started getting keyholing during speed drills. And I'm thinking, okay, there's something wrong here. It's probably the barrel. Maybe I smoked it out. Maybe I jacked up the muzzle. I don't know what happened. And I'm shooting in SoCal. I'm in Southern California, and I tend to run the gun hard in the summer. If I'm outside, I shoot outdoor range, no cover or whatnot, no shade. So I'm running it in 100-degree weather, and I'm shooting hard and fast because I like to just get in and out of the range in a couple hours, do my thing, and leave. But maybe I'm just abusing the barrels. I don't know what's going on. So I swapped out the barrel for the BCM barrel, and everything's all good now. So I'm no keyholing, and hopefully it stays the same. I've only got about 2,000 rounds on this gun right now, or this barrel. So hopefully at come 4,000, 5,000 rounds, I don't find that I smoked the barrel out again. Other modifications I made since I put the gun together, obviously the Knight's Armament sights I added on after the fact. I was only running it with the aim point, but I said, you know what, I need to get some backup sights. So I got the Knight's Armament backup sights, and I like the Knight's Armament micro sights because it has adjustable elevation. I hate rear sights with no adjustable elevation. People buy those backup iron sights, BUIS, if you want to call it that. But most of them don't have adjustable elevation in the rear. You can adjust the front sight post for elevation, but that's not handy if you're trying to do a speed adjustment. Maybe you got to engage something at 400 or 500 yards, and you got to make a quick adjustment rather than trying to hold down with your irons, and you're like, your aim point's broken or whatever, you got to use irons. It's not really easy to just go ahead and start clicking the front sight. You want to just dial it in on your rear sight and go. And since I'm no longer active, but I was a competition service rifle shooter, I'm so used to the A2 iron sights. I'm used to having quality rear sights. Other than that, the only other minor tweaks, the sequence precision safety selector I added on after the fact. I was running just a standard lower parts kit safety selector, but Sequence Precision came out with this safety selector earlier this year after SHOT Show, so I bought that and added it on because I thought it was pretty cool when I saw it at SHOT Show. I have a write-up on this safety selector on my blog at okfj.net, so read that for more information. Other tweaks that I made since I built the gun is the nickel boron bolt carrier group. I actually had a phosphate Spikes Tactical bolt carrier group, and I still have it, but I switched to nickel boron just for fun. Granted, it runs great and all, but I don't think it's worth the extra money. So if you're gonna buy a comparable quality bolt carrier group, and if the price of the nickel boron is higher than the phosphate coated, I would just stick with phosphate, given the same quality bolt carrier group. Obviously, you can buy a cheap bolt carrier group that's nickel boron. Maybe it's not as good as a high quality phosphate bolt carrier group as far as machining is concerned, but I would probably stick with a good quality phosphate bolt carrier group and you'll be fine. But that's pretty much all the other tweaks. I did mention the BCM Gunfighter Mod 0 muzzle brake that I'm using. I don't know if I'm going to go back to the battle comp. I do like the BCM Gunfighter Mod 0. It works pretty well, so I'll probably just stick with these. The only other changes, that's pretty much it. The changes I might want to make in the future, I'm still debating on this. I'm not sure if I'm going to do this. I might get a 15-inch KMR to run this longer, only because I'm thinking about swapping out my light. I'm thinking about running an X300 Ultra on the top, which means I would have to run my micro sight behind it so I can still use it. The micro sight will clear it. It will clear the X300 if you mount it on the Picatinny rail. But obviously I can't run it. I don't want to run it on a 13 because if I move the front sight on the 13-inch closer to accommodate the X300 on the top, I'm going to lose sight radius, and I don't want to lose that much sight radius. So if I use a 15-inch handguard KMR, I'll run it out to about here or so. The X300 will accommodate this much space roughly, and I'll move the front sight back about an inch or two, inch and a half, and I won't lose too much sight radius, and that should be fine. I'm still debating that though. That's just minor tweaks. It's not like I need to do it. It's just I kind of want to just for fun. Other than that, I was still thinking about also getting a magnifier, but I don't know. Magnifier, aim-point magnifier runs for about $700-800 with the LaRue side how should you call it, side swivel mount, so I can flip it over. And I don't know if I want to spend that much money just for fun. So that being said, this is pretty much the state of my rifle. My 16-inch AR is today, December 2015. Those changes that I might want to make in the future, I don't know if I'll do it, but I'm pretty happy with the gun as it stands right now.